Hey, boys and girlies, it is Tuesday, April 7th. Guess what? I still miss you. And guess what? I still love you. We're going to get through this. This could go out a little bit longer than we thought. But hopefully, this week we'll get to see each other at the end of the week, like on Thursday. That would be great if you would drive up around the parking lot at school and I'll be able to wave to you and we can pretend like we're giving each other hugs because we really can't touch, but I can give you some activities and we'll get to see each other's faces. That's going to make my heart so happy because I just want, you're seeing my face each day. Sorry, but I want to see your faces. And some of you are sending me pictures and that's great, but I want to see the real thing, okay? Today, just like always, I want you to go through your calendar. I want you to go through the numbers and the day of the week and the month and the year. I want you to go through your brand new Bible verse that you learned yesterday. And remember, in everything that you do, do a good job at it. Give God your first and your best. Remember how we said that? And then our new God word, wonderful. I like that one. Wonderful. That's a really good one. I'm going to read your our alpha book this week for the letter W. It's a good one. It's about a worm, and worm begins with W. Today, boys and girls, I want you to write your numbers 1 through 5 and do them at least 5 times so you can get some good practice. Some of those are kind of hard, but the more you practice, the better you're going to get. And remember what we say, practice makes possible. I think it's Logan that helps me remember that all the time. And then I want you to do your journal page. Uh-oh, sorry, I don't know what just happened to my face. Oh, there we go. I want you to do your journal page. I want you to write your first name and your last name and the date. And I want you to draw me a magnifico picture, if you would. You were so good at those. I would love to see a picture of it too. Today's the day that you get to play with blocks. I don't care what kind of blocks they are, just as long as you're building something with your hands and your fingers and your eyes are looking at that. The other day, guess what Truett did? He built, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some sort of a figure out of Legos. And then he drew a picture of that. So not only did he build with the Legos, but then he drew it too. It was amazing. So you could do that too if you want to, but for sure I want you to build with some blocks for at least 15 minutes today. Or maybe it's because I'm moving too much. I don't know. I'll try not to. Oh. Today's daily challenge is to go get the mail from your mailbox. Make sure an adult is with you or make sure that they say it's okay for you to go do it because this is kind of a big deal when you get the mail out of the mailbox. And once you bring it inside and I want you to say the letters that you see, at least just on the outside of the envelope. You don't have to open it up because that's going to be a whole lot of letters. So on the envelope anyway, excuse me, I want you to read as many letters as you can, saying them out loud. And I want you then also to make sure you can tell whether it's a uppercase letter, a capital letter, or a lowercase letter, because that's really, really important. And if you haven't practiced your letters with your family for a while, do that. I got to make sure. It's just like when we use our muscles to stay strong. And if you don't exercise, your muscles are going to get weak. It's the same, remember we said our brain is a muscle and all the things that we have up there, we're going to keep strong when we keep practicing. So keep practicing your letters, uppercase and lowercase, and write them and say the letter sounds they make too, because those are things we've all those things we've done. I want you to do your things that you do every single day. Snuggle with a book, make your bed, clean your room, clean up your messes. I want you to move. Make sure you do some movement today. And I want to make sure that you pray for your family, for your friends, and for your teacher. Okay? I'm going to read our W book today. I'm going to move back a little bit so that you can see the pictures a little bit better. And a lot of you are going to pick up on the very first page if worm is a boy or a girl. The name of our story is called Worm's Wagon. I want you to pay special attention to the different things that he picks up in his wagon, their sizes, and how they change. And I also want you to pay close attention to his face, because as animals start getting in his wagon, the wagon starts getting heavier. So watch what happens. Worm's wagon. One day, Worm went into the woods to gather some walnuts. Did you hear it? He brought his wagon with him. It's a boy. On his way home, Worm saw Woodpecker up in the tree, whistling in a weeping willow. Woodpecker asked Worm for a ride in his wagon. And Woodpecker saying, "Wow, what a wagon!" Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker in his wagon. Soon they came upon Weasel eating watermelon. Weasel asked Worm for a ride too. "Hey, what a wagon you got!" Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker and Weasel in his wagon. Before long, they bumped into a wombat wearing her new wig. Wombat asked Worm for a ride. "Say, wow, what a wagon!" Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, and Wombat in his wagon. Next, they met Wolf on his way to work. Wolf asked Worm for a ride. "Wow, what a wagon!" Do you see how all the animals are getting a little bit bigger? Can you think of any more animals that begin with a W that you might think could be coming up on the next pages? Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, look at his face, Weasel, Wombat, and Wolf in his wagon. Soon they saw Walrus winking and waving. Walrus asked Worm for a ride. "Oh, wow, what a wagon!" Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, and Wolf and Walrus in his wagon. Up ahead, oh no, they saw a whale playing in the water. Whale asked Worm for a ride too. "Hey, that's an awesome wagon!" Poor Worm, look at his face. Worm wiggled with all his might, trying to pull Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, Wolf, Walrus, and Whale in the wagon. But the wagon would not move. The wheels started to wobble. Wham! The weight was too much for the wagon. It crashed to the ground. "Oh no, my wagon!" Worm wailed. But guess what? "Don't worry, Worm," all the animals said. Worm's friends worked on the wagon all afternoon. When the wagon was fixed, Worm wiggled into it. Then Wombat, Weasel, Wolf, Woodpecker, Walrus, and Whale pulled Worm all the way home, and weary Worm had a wonderful ride. You remember, boys and girls, how we turn to this page and try to find all of the things that you can that begin with that word for the week? This one being W. See how many you can find and check them off your list. Good story for the week. I hope you liked it. Boys and girls, I started something yesterday saying how I was praying for each one of you. And each day I'm going to say, a different group of boys and girls. So I've got a few more that I'm going to pray, or that I'm going to tell you about today, that I think about when I pray for them. The first one's going to be Prashanza. Boys and girls, I don't know if you know this or not, but Prashanza won't be coming back to school with us. Do you remember how lots of times she couldn't go outside with us at recess? It's because she had some breathing problems. And her mama and daddy think it's best just for her to stay home for the rest of the school year. We knew that, or I knew that even before school was dismissed, before spring break. So she won't be back with us, but I want you to think about how sweet Prashanza was. Do you remember how when she came to school with us in the beginning of the school year, she didn't know our language very well, and how friends like Lola and others helped her along doing things that we needed to get done, and she picked up our language so fast. I have lots of memories of her sitting on the floor with me, making patterns out of our stackable rings, and making patterns out of those domino blocks that we have. And she is such a sweetheart, Lord. So or boys and girlies. So I want you to keep praying for her. Next one up is Rose. She smells so good. Rose reminds me a lot of Lola, in that Rose has an awesome, awesome heart for friends. She's a good friend to everybody, and such a kind, kind heart. She sees when somebody needs a special hug or some special attention. There's been lots of times when Rose will watch and see if there's somebody who isn't playing with someone else, and she'll go sit down beside them and play. And Rose, remember at the beginning of our school year how we went outside for recess with Mrs. Super's boys and girls, and there was a certain little girl in Mrs. Super's class that you saw was all by herself, and you went running to her and you sat down and played with her. And I remember seeing that, and oh, it just made my heart melt. Rose, you've got such a great heart. I love the way God made you. I love you, and He does too. And then there's Savannah. Savannah, I've known you for a long time, and I just love how you are a good little sister to Elias, and you're a good big sister to Josephina. And you and I have talked so many times about your little sister. And I remember when you first started writing your name, you have so many letters in your name, and oh my goodness, it really didn't take you very long, but you figured out how to write your name. And then this year, you wanted to write out Josefina's name, and I didn't even know for sure how to spell Josephina, but we figured it out together, and we wrote it out. And how many times you wrote it out on a piece of paper. Girlfriend, you are so smart, and you are so great at writing, and you're so great at your letters, and you're putting letters together to make words, and words together to make sentences. You are super duper smart, and I just love you so much. I'm anxious to see all of you so much. Tally, you are someone who has just grown by leaps and bounds. Especially, I noticed after Christmas how you are really loving learning. That's what every teacher's hope is, that they're going to have students that love to learn. And I've seen that in you, Tally. You are writing, you are reading your letters and putting them together, and you're reading some words and you're sounding them out. And that is super duper good. I love that about you. I love you and I miss you. And then Miss Taylor, you came in like a kindergartner. You were writing and you were reading already, and you are ready for that next challenge, and you love a challenge. You are not afraid of a new challenge at all. You are super duper quiet, but I love it when I see you playing with your friends, and you've got some real good girlfriends. And I have loved seeing the pictures that you and your mama are sending me of all of the things that you're doing at home. God made you so smart, and I hope that you're enjoying your new home, and I can't wait to see you again. That's all I'm going to lift up to you today, boys and girls. If you didn't hear your name today, I promise you're going to hear it either tomorrow or on Thursday. I promise, promise. I love you. Have a nice evening and be kind. Okay?